I was practicing at a comp a few days ago and I managed to get this 6.7 second full step solve. Now if you've kept track of all of my previous videos, you know that I rarely do any solve reconstructions. However, this solve I believe has enough educational value that I thought it'd be a good idea to share on this channel. So today, I'll be going over some of the techniques that I've used in this solve, and hopefully you can learn them to apply them in your own solves. Let's get right into it. If you want to follow along, go ahead and do this scramble with me. Make sure you're doing it white top, green front. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Now, of course, the first and most important thing to do whenever you get a scramble is to inspect the scramble and see what you can do. Of course, the first thing that you probably see with this one is this giant block right here. And most of you are probably thinking X-cross right now, which is exactly what we are going to do. Now, looking at some of the other cross edges, we can see that this is going to be a pretty easy X-cross to make. So some of you are probably also looking at this done pair right here. Now for my original solution, I decided not to use this pair to keep my X-cross simple, and this actually ended up being a pretty good idea, which you'll see why in just a few minutes. In order to do this cross, I decided to do it yellow top, red front. And the way I did it was to start with a B move, which I know is not optimal, inserting this block here, inserting green, finally doing a U2 and inserting red like this. Next up, we have to look at F2L. When it comes to F2L, there are two really easy pairs that we can do. We can do the orange-blue pair, which is right here, or we can do the orange-green pair. Now I ended up choosing to go with the orange-blue pair first. And the reason why was because I knew that if I do the orange-green pair first, the orange-blue pair would end up in an unoptimal location, which would make it harder to do. While if I do the orange-blue pair first, I can actually preserve the orange-green pair exactly as is. Let me show you the difference. If I choose to do the orange-green pair right now, here's probably how I would do it. First pair it up, and use a wide F move to insert. Notice how this pair is now in a slot. Now it's not that many extra moves, but it is still less optimal than if I did this pair first, which would look something like this. I would first pair it up, and then insert again with a wide F move. Notice how these two pieces are still preserved exactly as is. For the next two pairs in F2L, I will be utilizing a strategy known as multislotting, which means doing two pairs at the same time. First, I'll orient the cube like this. Now we see two pretty easy pairs again to do. We have the red-green pair, which is already set up, as well as the good old green-orange pair. Now, something that you might be tempted to do right now is something like this, where you rotate the cube, pair this up, and insert. Now we still have a pretty easy case, but unfortunately this pair is still outside. And the more optimal way to do this instead is if we directly pair it up still facing the red slot like this, which inserts this pair at the same time that it sets this up, and then inserting this pair into the back with a wide F move. Next, when it comes to OLL, this is the standard wide anti-soon case, and the one optimization that you can make here is instead of doing a U2 and then doing your wide anti-soon, you can simply just do the wide anti-soon from the back, which would look something like this. And finally, we have an A-perm, so simply just finish it off, do a U2 AUF, and you are all done. I definitely know that for this particular solution, if you had a slightly higher TPS, you can actually get a very, very good time. But keep in mind that I had to think through all of that live time instead of just watching a video and knowing it, so please excuse me if my time was a bit slow. And with that being said, I mean, technically, perhaps there was a better solution in the first place while utilizing that green-red pair, but perhaps if you did use that pair, the latter solution would not be as good. So of course, if you guys have a better solution, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'd be happy to review it and perhaps learn something from it. And with that being said, I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!